Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you, September 9th, 2025. I got all of your stories for your rush hour ride to work. Yesterday was a little quiet, but I'm telling you right now, when it rains, it pours. We got a lot to get into. We'll discuss the global cover-up known as the Epstein Files on the back half of this show, and the bombing that took place of the Venezuelan, what was accused to be a narco-terrorist boat, although the New York Times is now saying they were civilians. Plus more stories coming from the NFL and Bachelorette. Will we have a season before the Bachelor? Big update there. And of course, Blake Lively now trying to get money, right? She's trying to get her lawsuit paid for by Baldoni's side with punitive damages, claiming his defamation suit was frivolous. She actually also introduces a new person, although we don't know who they are. They are redacted, but a redacted person who claims he was verbally abusive. So much to get into. All these stories and more starts right now on The Rush. And let's dive into this. Here we have posted on Caller Daddy's TikTok. Looks like tomorrow she's going to reveal that the next season of The Bachelor may actually be The Bachelorette. So here it is. It says season 30, but she cuts into the cake. And what do we have here? A good old gender reveal.
Why is it pink?
So it's pink, and is that because rather than having The Bachelor, they're going to have The Bachelorette? We'll have to see. Who could it be? Could it be Susie Evans? Could it be Rachel Kirkconnell? Could it be Maria? I have no idea, but we'll get the updates when they come in. And in other box office news, Conjuring Last Rites overtakes It as biggest horror movie opening with $194 million globally. Yeah, there's really only two types of movies to go to the movie theater these days for, right? A horror movie or an action movie. No one's going to the rom-coms to try to canoodle with somebody. Too many variables are at the movie theater. Bed bugs, someone throwing popcorn at you while you're trying to get to second base. I mean, you know what I mean? Rising cost of popcorn. Who's got time for it? All right, let's move it on from there. Oh, speaking of things we don't have time for, McDonald's, they're now saying that inflation is not happening at McDonald's. And it's like, what? What are you talking about? McDonald's used to be the affordable place you went for food. You need to take out a loan if you want to eat at McDonald's these days.
The vast majority of what we sell in our restaurants comes from right here in the USA. And so we've been able to manage any tariff impact within the parameters of our cost projections, and we're relatively insulated from this impact. Right now, we're seeing that obviously with the start of inflation happening in the economy, but inflation's not happening at McDonald's.
And again, people have said, oh, that's so funny. So it's not tariffs that have raised the prices, it's corporate greed. They're finding out that these, I mean, do you remember you used to get an extra value meal for $7? You remember you get a large Diet Coke, you got a double whatever quarter pound or whatever the hell you want, $7. I don't think you can order a meal for under $10 these days, but hey, them's the times we live in. I sound like the old millennial telling you about the days of the dollar menu. All right, we covered this story yesterday. There was a fan that slapped some Ravens players in the head, and Lamar Jackson pushed the fan back. Well, the fan has now been kicked out of all NFL stadiums. But here's John Harbaugh, the coach of the Ravens, talking about Lamar's interaction with the Bills fan.
Have you heard from the league regarding Lamar Jackson's interaction with the fan? And what's your take on that?
I have not heard from the league, Bo. My take is on it, and all I know is what I read afterwards, is Lamar's down there celebrating a touchdown with his teammates just like you're supposed to do. I mean, we talk about celebration, and we want our guys to celebrate with one another. That's the whole idea, and I didn't know. I guess I didn't know you're not allowed to go close to the stands, to do that without being attacked, by a fan.
Look, I agree with him. I think the fan hits him first. You're entitled to slapsies. You can slap him back at equal and opposite pressure. Here is Lamar Jackson talking about the same incident.
I seen him slap D-Hop, but I wasn't really. He slapped me. He said he talking, so I just forgot where I was for a little bit,
There it is. He said he forgot where he was for a little bit. And so far, the league hasn't fined him. Good. They shouldn't. You know what I mean? They're just there doing their job. They didn't fire the first shots. Well, here we have, besmirching the good name of YouTube. Woman was rescued after going missing during YouTube's survival challenge in Michigan. Let me tell you something. YouTube's not for the weak, right? You guys know this. I've opened up Dave Neal University or Dave Neal College. I don't know what we're calling it yet, but I'm doing I'm giving people help on their YouTube channels, auditing them, trying to help them grow. And that's through the membership community here on YouTube. It's like $5 a month or something like that. And we're going to be going live weekly or bi-weekly and just kind of offering you advice. This past week talked about the sort of behind the scenes technical aspect of what you need to do to get your videos recommended and growth and all of that. Make your money there. But here we have a lady, I guess, in the wilderness niche on YouTube. They had to come rescue her.
Command from Trooper 6. Definitely got her. We're just trying to work out getting the camera on her real good and then locking in a spot for you guys to get out here. But if you see where the helicopter is, I'm basically right over top of her right now.
So there it is, a lady lost in the woods. I'm not here to be sexist and say that women get lost more often than men. Plenty of men get lost. They don't ask for directions, but in this specific case, I guess the lady's lost, and good on them for having their, heat sensing drone technology or helicopters. But boy, who's going to have to foot that bill? Was this a Mr. Beast video? What video? I want to watch the actual YouTube video now. Great promotion for the channel. Here we have an update from the Coldplay Kiss Cam. Kristen Cabot, right? She was the one canoodling with the CEO. She was the HR executive who was giving him plenty of her human resources. She was just trying to stay warm. The estranged husband breaks the silence and says, she didn't cheat on me. We were separated. So as it turns out, they actually had separated a week earlier. So she wasn't cheating. But again, the CEO certainly was. That's a different story. We haven't heard from the CEO's wife yet. But when that information comes out, you know where we will be to report on it. Well, how about this? We got a bad issue with tariffs, right? Tariffs are coming for your fake Christmas trees.
I'm at a factory in eastern China which makes fake Christmas trees, and it's crunch time for them to get all their orders in time for Christmas. Here in Yiwu, they make around 2/3 of the world's Christmas decorations, and the factory boss here, she tells me that before the trade war, American business accounted for something like 40%. Now it's down to 0 with the trade at a truce. Tariffs still do remain high. She also says that, like others in her business, she won't be taking in any extra costs, that will then go into the importer, which then may be pushed onto the American consumer.
So there it is from the folks at the Christmas tree, the faux Christmas tree industry in China saying, it ain't going to affect us. It's going to be the importer, which again will pass the cost down to us. The war on Christmas continues through this sham tariff battle that we didn't need to face. We didn't, because let me tell you something, this tariff battle isn't going to lead to American-made fake Christmas trees. I'm telling you right now, I don't think there's any American fake tree manufacturers that are going to come to the United States and set up shop. Maybe I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Let me know where I can find them. What a great segue for our sponsor today. It's Upside. It's a free app that gets you cash back with purchases you're already going to make at gas stations, convenience stores, and restaurants. Look at this. Pulling up in my neighborhood, Dunkin' Donuts, 32% cash back. And look at all of these other places that you can receive these rewards. So whether you're driving across town for pickup, or commuting here with the rush hour to work and back, it's real cash back, not points or rewards. It's money you're going to get sent straight to your bank account. What you do is you set up a credit card with the app. Then when you pay for things, when you see them here, you'll see like 45 cents per gallon at this Exxon. You'll pay for your gas, upload the receipt through the app here, and then you'll get approved for those claims. Unbelievable stuff. Upside has given back $1 billion to its users in total, about $1 million a week. To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app and use promo code RUSHHOUR to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code RUSHHOUR. It's right there. They're giving it to you, folks. Download that now. And you know who's going to need the money? They might have to get the Upside app themselves. Need the money here is Justin Baldoni. If he loses to Blake Lively with regard to her motion for attorney's fees, because she's squeezing, she's pinching the wallet right now. And I'm going to read for you just exactly what she's claiming. Right here, she says, notice of Blake Lively's motion for attorney's fees, treble damages, and punitive damages under California Civil Code, Section 47.1. It's so confusing. She's filing for damages in California because they've got a different set of laws that's supposed to prevent retaliatory defamation suits, right? But Baldoni's saying, what are you talking about? This is not retaliatory. I'm just defending myself, right? So I'm going to share a little bit from this. Here we have a declaration that was submitted into the court. What's interesting, there's actually a lot interesting here, but there's some claims being made, but from who? We don't know who these claims, I should put my X-Files music on while I read this because we just don't know who made these claims, but here it is. I, redacted, declare as follows. I'm over the age of 18 of sound mind. And then they say that I had repeated negative interactions with Mr. Baldoni and his associates, including verbal abuse by Mr. Baldoni. Mr. Baldoni not be permitted on set during the majority of production as a result of those experiences. So this is somebody who says they were verbally abused by Justin. Now, again, what does verbal abuse mean? What was said? It's whatever you make it to be, right? Was he yelling at somebody? Was he yelling at them for good reason? You know what I mean? We have no idea what, decibel level he was speaking at or whatever. But what we do know is somebody is willing to go through the court system and sign this declaration. Whether we ever get to find out who it is, we don't know. Could it be someone at WME? Most likely Sony, which was the distributor here. So they said, I've requested that he not be involved in redacted marketing or public relations efforts. So she, goes on and says that they are, available, declare under penalty of perjury that the foregoing is true and correct. Again, where's the evidence? Is it just someone's character witness? What's in it for them? Is it, I hate to be so conspiratorial, but are these people that need the business of the Ryan Reynolds empire? We'll have to see. So we have a 30-page document. I'm not going to read it. It's a lot of sort of things we already know, but it's Blake basically providing her receipts as to why she should get attorney's fees, treble damages, and punitive damages. She essentially says, look, I can afford this, but he should have to pay the punitive damages as punishment so that they don't do this again. What I found interesting was here, the footnote, unsealed portions of the deposition transcript filed with the court. Miss Lively testified that she not only felt the lawsuit of Mr. Friedman's conduct was retaliatory, but that Mr. Sarowitz's dead body's threat on the heels of his pledge to spend $100 million to ruin her life left her concerned for her physical safety and as a mother for that of her family. This person, again, speaking of the person who claims he was verbally abusive, said that of Mr. Baldoni that they found he was to be verbally abusive, which resulted in him not being allowed on the set of the other project or involved in its marketing or publicity. What do they mean by the other project? Again, I don't have the answers to these things, but it's very interesting. Mr. Friedman's statements on behalf of the Wayfair parties, while no doubt shocking, are not surprising given his client's litigation strategy. The sentiments of Mr. Sarowitz, which are reprehensible in any sense of the word, are especially troublesome in a case involving allegations as sensitive as the ones at issue here. Certainly confirm that for the Wayfair parties, the merits of their allegations were secondary to their goal of leaving Miss Lively and her husband dead. This following the, claims that Steve Sarowitz said he wanted to bury them or whatever, which again, most people would understand as like a metaphor for, making sure, whatever. So I'm not here to defend anybody, but what I find interesting is Lively's going for the jugular. Nobody's really surprised that it's happening, but is it interesting that it's happening today or yesterday, I should say? This was the same day that Scarlett Johansson was, I guess, receiving her flowers for her first directorial debut. Why would that matter? Well, fans are saying, oh, how convenient that the day that this kind of hits the docket and is filed by Lively, this is Ryan Reynolds' ex who's having, her career moment. Could it be that this PR is used to, again, I know it's a little kooky. It might just be a Hollywood coincidence. But what's interesting here is you guys got a shout out. You got a shout out here. Number 17 in the lower level here, and as if on cue and true to plan, the media and the quote unquote internet sleuth community immediately began speculating that the deposition testimony must not have gone well for Miss Lively if her attorneys sought to keep the transcript sealed. What I find interesting is, why is Blake Lively getting the internet involved for whatever opinions they have? This, of course, because Blake Lively wanted to have seal her deposition when it was brought into the court documents by Justin Baldoni's side. I just find it interesting that this gameplay that she's doing here to say, like, well, the internet sleuth community is out to get me, and she's trying to make the claim that, well, that must be because of the smear campaign. She just does not have any idea that the most truthful explanation is that people just don't like her. So I went to ChatGPT and I got the 30-page motion and I broke it down for you right here. Blake Lively's motion seeking fees claims that Baldoni and all launched a $400 million defamation lawsuit purely to retaliate against her harassment and retaliation complaint. Allegations include threats by Sarowitz to spend $100 million to ruin her and her husband's lives, a coordinated media smear campaign. The court already dismissed Wayfair's lawsuit entirely, citing abuse of the litigation process and use of filings to fuel press speculation. Why Lively says she wins. Her statements about harassment and retaliation are protected communication, since they were made without malice and with a reasonable basis. As the prevailing defendant, she seeks recovery of all attorney's fees and litigation costs, treble damages for the harm caused, punitive damages, arguing the Wayfair parties acted with oppression, fraud, and malice. She asked the court to set a schedule to calculate these awards, stressing that 47.1 was designed to shield survivors from retaliatory lawsuits and deter abusers from abusing the courts. The question people have is this Blake Lively, hiding behind, this court, this California specific law that is supposed to shield survivors? Is she a survivor? Is Blake, and that's what we have to ask, is Blake Lively a survivor? Again, survivor of what? Someone accusing Baldoni of being verbally abusive? No receipts, really? Just this idea that they may have hired PR people for a, smear campaign that would be untraceable without any evidence that the smear campaign actually happened? What the hell's going on here? We know real survivors that exist. Later on in the episode, we're going to be talking about the Epstein case. There's real survivors there. And I'm not trying to say one level of survivor should discount a lower level of survivor, but Blake Lively is a 100 millionaire, right? And the accusation she's made against Justin, nobody, and I mean nobody, there's a few people out there, but no one really thinks that there's any merit to it because we haven't seen any evidence. Again, fascinating stuff, interesting. No idea how this is going to go. I have no idea how this is going to go because I am not a lawyer. But could it be that she wins the attorney's fees for that dismissed defamation lawsuit? Maybe. Somebody, please let me know. Up next, we have bombshell information coming out with the Epstein cover-up. That being the drawing that Donald Trump said he never did and is doubling and tripling down saying he's never did this drawing. Well, now it's been made public. So there it is, folks. We'll have this story next. Today's episode of the Rush Hour Podcast is sponsored by Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one of my favorites. Ooh, are they delicious. Start your day with a protein-packed breakfast from Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Oh, you thought they only had delicious smoothie options? You're mistaken. Pair that smoothie with a toasted breakfast wrap, order ahead online, and earn rewards with the Tropical Smoothie Cafe app. Like to customize things? Add more good vibes to your smoothie. Fresh add-ins like almonds, spinach and kale, chia seeds, or supplements like protein and Energizer. My favorite smoothie is the Peanut Paradise, chock full of 22 grams of protein. My wife loves the mixed berry Greek yogurt bowl topped with fresh strawberries and blueberries, which comes with a whopping 26 grams of protein. Make every day a getaway with our bold flavors and better for you pairings only at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Tropical Smoothie Cafe, you're on Tropic time now. The Epstein cover-up becoming one of the biggest conspiracies to ever exist in the United States of America, really is. Now, the alleged Epstein letter has been revealed. The Naked Lady sketch has been included here. The White House has responded with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt posting on Twitter, the latest piece published by the Wall Street Journal proves this entire birthday card story is false. As I've said all along, it's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture. He did not sign it. Trump's legal team will continue to aggressively pursue litigation. Again, you don't even need metadata. This is a hard copy thing that exists, and it's insane. It's insane, that they initially said this doesn't exist. So now we're actually looking at it, and I guess, what are they supposed to say? That this was doctored, a decade plus ago? Jeffrey Epstein birthday book. Also, there were jokes about selling women to Trump. One letter obtained by TMZ is reportedly from businessman and longtime Mar-a-Lago member Joel Pashkow. He jokes about Epstein selling a fully depreciated woman to Trump for $22,500. This is sickening. Okay, I understand, dark humor. I'm a comedian. I get it. But any amount of jokes about sex trade, prostitution, knowing what we know about Epstein and Trump and their, this is absolutely wild. Now, there's also reports that Bill Clinton, and again, I think we already knew this, but Bill Clinton was, a part of this book that was made for his birthday. Fry him. I don't care. I got no loyalty. Get them all gone. Here we have some updates I'm going to share with you regarding what's going on. Not only did they release some of the information, some of it redacted from the Epstein estate, the lawmakers, Republicans and Democrats, will be going there this week for a chance to look at the unredacted versions.
Later this week, we know that lawyers, Republicans and Democrats on the committee, just the staff, are going to meet with the Epstein estate in person in New York City in their offices to view unredacted versions of these documents. So according to sources that I spoke to, especially on the Democratic side, Katie, they're going to see either which way, if anything was held out today or any information that is not really sensitive in nature, designed to protect the identity of, let's say, a minor or somebody that wasn't really affected with this case. They're going to know pretty quickly after the meeting later this week, where they get to see the unredacted versions of these documents, whether anything was redacted.
Now, of course, this is still not enough. This is not enough. This is kind of the dribble that they're giving us with, here, we'll share some of this from the Oversight Committee. Why not just, and for whatever reason, they're getting their way and they're not going to be able to get the bill passed to completely release all of this. Massive global cover-up. That's what they're calling it. I tend to agree. Biggest cover-up in the United States history happening right now.
This is about crimes, corruption, collusion, and a massive global cover-up. This is not a few isolated events. We're talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of young women who were trafficked, not just in the United States, but across borders. We're talking about immigration fraud, as you said, fake marriages. I mean, this is a massive case that involves actors that are far beyond just Epstein and his immediate employees. It involves financial institutions, potentially foreign governments and actors. And I think it's very clear. I mean, let me just say this. I did not have it on my bingo card that members of Congress would be using the tools of Congress to shield pedophiles from accountability.
Jeez. I mean, is she wrong here? I think we're all on the same side. Let it all out so that we can, as a community, hold accountable the monsters that were a part of it. This transcends political party. Now, here we have a separate story. We have Vice President J.D. Vance just with atrocious public statements regarding the murder of the 11 people on board the Venezuelan boat. The Trump administration called it a narco-terrorist sting. The New York Times is saying they were civilians. Well, the fact that we don't know for sure probably means we shouldn't be blowing them up, right?
On Saturday, Vice President J.D. Vance posted the following message on social media, quote, Killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military.
And this is what kills me, right? They make it seem that if you're against the murder of people without due process, then you're for like just letting fentanyl into the country. It's absolute horrible logic, but that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to pit people's critical thinking skills against them so that, you know, you're anti-American if you must not want America to be a safe place. What the hell are you talking about? The safest way we can make our country is if we don't erode the Constitution and make sure that there is due process and that you don't just give the a branch of the government complete control to start bombing boats, claiming that there's a bunch of cocaine on board. Really? Really? Don't you think the Coast Guard, don't you think Trump's administration would have loved to seize the cocaine and taken a photo in front of it and had this great PR tour of them stopping the drugs from coming in? Yeah, but that's not what they did, right? They blew it up, so there's no evidence that there were ever drugs on board.
He followed that by writing, quote, Democrats, let's send your kids to die in Russia. Republicans, actually, let's protect our people.
More heinous political division by the executive branch.
From the scum of the earth. When another user suggested that assassinations without due process amount to war crimes, Vance wrote back, quote, I don't give a blank what you call it.
Geez, someone put J.D. Vance on a Venezuelan boat and strap him with some cocaine and let's see what happens. So here we have a response coming. And again, this just goes to show Donald Trump shared the footage on Truth Social saying the destruction of the boat he claimed was running drugs was operated out of Venezuela. And then we've got the New York Times saying, no, they were civilians.
This is the moment the U.S. struck what Trump says was a drug trafficking boat in international waters in the Caribbean. The footage, which was declassified in a post on Trump's Truth Social, claims to show a boat destroyed en route to the United States, carrying illegal narcotics and 11 terrorists. Trump said it was being operated by a drug cartel called Tren de Aragua, and accused Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro of leading the gang. A declassified U.S. intelligence assessment contradicts Trump's claim. Trump first shared news of the strike during a press conference in the Oval Office.
We just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat. We have a lot of drugs pouring into our country, coming in for a long time. And we just, these came out of Venezuela and coming out very heavily from Venezuela. A lot of things are coming out of Venezuela, so we took it out.
The U.S. deployed warships to the southern Caribbean.
Yeah, so now there's warships going to the southern Caribbean. There's helicopters and other military equipment going to Puerto Rico, which is, I guess, where they're going to stage the offensive as they prepare to put boots on the ground in Venezuela. What the hell are they doing? This is absolute insanity. And there will be bootlickers that say, well, it's just to defend the United States. What the hell are you talking about? This is like when you see a drunk guy at the bar trying to make eye contact with anybody that they could fight with. Department of Defense is now Department of War. How is this the peacekeeping that our country wanted? And how are all of these politicians that said they wanted to end all of these regime change wars, they wanted to end all of the chaos and money spent abroad and all these things, how are they just going to sit by with their hands under their ass and let this happen? It just shows you the hypocrisy and inability for anybody, it seems, in that administration or anybody on the higher levels in the military to say no to this fascist regime. Wild, wild stuff. We'll report on it as it keeps on happening, as long as we are allowed to. We'll see you this afternoon. Until then, I'm Dave, and this is The Rush.